session. Can I have everybody gather for it now?
I'll be going there at 7 o'clock.
We'll be starting with our session. Anybody having lunch, please move on to the corridors for the lunch.
It's very good.
Anybody having lunch, please move on to the corridors for lunch.
No.
They're not visited because we are here to have a permanent campus. We are doing initial works.
You can have a meeting there.
Where?
There,
I will now call out the names of the people for the session.
Don't move like this.
Is our session chair, Professor Chandrasekhar Bhunia here?
It's not just that. We arrange something. This protocol is
The Professor Dr. Rajat Gupta. Are you here, Dr. Rajat Gupta? Dr. Narendra S. Chaudhary. Dr. Narendra S. Chaudhary. Professor Tarikeshwar Kumar. So we have with us Dr. G.R.C. Reddy. Dr. Priyanka. Mr. Amitabh Akhori, Mr. V.S.N. Raju, and Professor Satish C. Sharma. Now I welcome the audience for our session, Industry Academia Bridge, Channelizing Collaborative Methods. What we need to take note of is that there is often a mismatch between what the colleges teach and what the industry requires. So, in a way, it's about colleges and universities not always making you industry ready. In this session, we put the focus on the need for an interactive and collective arrangement between academic institutions and the business cooperation for the achievement of mutually inclusive goals and objectives. I welcome all my guests, and I would request Dr. G.R.C. Reddy to please come and share his views with us. I apologize. I guess our friend Dr. Priyanka will be leaving early, so we'll request her to first make the presentation, followed by Dr. G.R.C. Reddy.
Very good afternoon to all of you all present here today. Firstly, excuse me because I'm having a very bad sore throat. I hope I'm audible. Okay. The topic for today's session is bridging the gap between industry and academics and channelization and for collaborative models where we can bridge the gap between industry and academia. How many of you here are from the industry and from academics? As all of us are aware, I'm also from the academic field. As all of us are aware, students always come to us and tell us that there is always a gap between the industry and what we teach. And they will always come back to us and tell that there is no sync between what they have learned in form of theory and what they apply in the corporate. And that is the gap which exists, and I think we need to address this challenge a little more seriously. And in this session, I will be providing an overview of how we can bridge the gap between industry and academics. A brief about myself. I am Professor Priyanka. I work in Jyotinivas College. I am an MBA. I also did another post-graduation in advertising and PR. Presently pursuing my PhD in management. I also pursuing an executive program for young leaders from Indian Institute of Management, Calcutta. Presented more than 20 research papers in leading institutions like IIM, Harvard University, ISB, etc. I have 3 years of teaching experience and 3 years of research experience. And I have also received prestigious awards in the field of education. Okay, I will be handling this in 2 parts. The first part I will be talking about the expectations of industry, the expectations of academics, and the second part I will be handling with the collaboration models. Bridging the gap between academics and industry expectations. What is the gap that exists? Can I have some interaction here, please? What is the gap which exists? Since this is a discussion or to have an insight on the industry and academic expectation, I would also like to have your views on the gap that exists between academia and industry. Yes, actually, there is a huge demand and supply gap. It is estimated that by the year 2020, India is going to be the educational hub where we would have a lot of foreign industries coming into India and establishing itself. The gap between industry and academia, the first being a different mindset. The mindset of academia is very different from the mindset of an industry. When you say mindset of academia, we as academicians, we try to train students, we try to make them suitable to the industry. When you look at it from the industry aspect, they expect people to be street smart, they expect them to be target oriented, they expect them to be aware of the current happening, whatever is happening in the market trends. Different goals. The goal of academia is very different from the goal of industry. When you say industry, people who work in the industry, they are more, they look at every aspect. If you take, I'm into marketing, so when you take the marketing aspect, they look on a more practical side. But when you take the academia, we look on more of the theoretical side and making them more, preparing them for the exams. The perspectives differ. Perspective of an industry is very different from perspective of an academician. When you take perspective of an academician, we as academicians, we conduct research, keeping ties up with the industry and try to deliver the same to our students. But when you take the industry, it gives students a more practical exposure. Cost. The cost of any industrial education, the cost of any course, be it master's, be it undergraduate, these days has been on the rise. But when you say industry, these days you have paid internships as an option which is being given to students, where students get a practical exposure. Aspiration of an industry and aspiration of academicians are entirely different. When we take aspiration of academicians, we more are into conducting research, keeping industries, we tie up with industries, and when you take the industry, they are into a different streamline altogether. And we as academicians, we try to bridge the gap to whatever extent possible, we try to bridge the gap between the industry and the academicians. What is the challenge that academicians face? Academicians are still not geared up to face the challenge of translating the evolving idea into a technology. When you take industries, they have the required amount of resources, they have the required amount of capital to convert an idea into reality. But when we take academicians, we are more onto the research side. We try to provide solutions through conducting primary research. We combine primary and secondary research. We try to give solutions. But still, we do not have that kind of resources which would convert the idea into a real-time project. Technology. These days, technology has developed at a very fast pace, which has given a lot of opportunity to bridge the gap between industry and academicians. Right? The resources which are available for when you look at it on an academic perspective, where technology has made the world a very small place. Okay, where we have a lot of technology which in Bangalore is known to be the IT hub, where we have a lot of IT companies, and technology has helped academicians. It has helped even the IT industry. The next 10 years down the line, data analytics and big data is going to be the next thing which is going to be ruling the world. What are the expectations of the industry? Large industries, they have the resources to invest in huge amount of technology. They expect high amount of young person who can contribute towards the organization, and they have their own ways of testing students these days. Gone are the days when we have only 3 kinds of rounds, when we take only aptitude, group discussion and interview. These days we have industries who test students on lateral thinking skills, who put them onto a stress round to see how much they are able to cope up with the stress that the industry offers. Problem solving and product testing. With the advent of technology, we have a lot of job opportunities which have come up in research sector, in research and analytics, where there are a lot of job opportunities and they help them in problem solving and product testing, where industry gives students a live scenario and they tell them to test the product in the market, whether the product is a success or a failure. Expect to work in a time frame and yield result in an organization. When we as faculty, when we are gearing students to work in an industry, the industry expects students to work under stress. If most of the students are freshers, where they don't have any kind of work exposure, and so they expect the industry expects these highly energetic people to work in stress, and they give them targets, be it HR, marketing, finance, any kind of industry which is taken. They expect them to work in a set specific time frame and yield result for the organization. Ability to facilitate solutions through data collection and interpretation. Industries these days, they give scope for students to have their career in research and analytics, where they give them the scope to conduct research, collect data and interpretation, which in turn helps the top management to develop strategies based on the result which is being given by the academic expectations. Yes. Okay. Academic expectations. Problems that are intellectually challenging. These days, academicians have this problem of managing research. Right? Research has become a very crucial part of any academician, along with the industry-related projects which we are expected to do. And the problems that come out of research have become very challenging to come up with solutions. Because of technology, preserving research has also become a challenge. Area of interest lie in technology development initiatives and methods related to process and design improvement. When we look at the management education, there is something called as business modeling, where we are expected to use technology and come up with a model or frame a model or test a model where you can test it in the market. When we take academicians, there are 2 kinds of research, primary as well as a combination of primary and secondary. At that point of time, we all make use of technology to get the required data for ourselves. And research has a strong preference for working towards creation of knowledge in the area of specialization. As UGC and AICTE protocols, where we as academicians, we need to have research so that we can deliver the same to our students. When our students come to us saying that we need to develop for the corporate, we as faculties, we need to have that strong amount of knowledge so that we can facilitate that to our students. industry research for academicians. Academicians are oriented towards R&D activities where we as academicians we tie up with the industry and we get the required amount of funds, industry-based funds, and which helps us bridge the gap between the academicians and the industry, and so that it also helps to sustain the broader research interest. For an industry-related problem, a researcher has to explore a variety of options which is often time-consuming. When we undertake research in tie-up with an organization, sometimes each research goes up to a span of 3 years, a long-term research, where we are more into facilitating R&D activities, where we try our level best to bridge the gap between the industry and the academicians. Now, in the second part, I will be dealing with the collaborative models, where academicians can use this to bridge the gap between the industry and the academicians. First is an industry team project, which is a real-world experience, where institutions tie up with the industry and where we provide opportunities for students to go into the industry and feel the real market. The second is virtual industry-related projects. For example, there is X-Culture, which is a project offered by the University of North Carolina, where they provide a live company and a live problem, and students are being divided into multicultural teams, and they are expected to provide solutions for a real-time problem and a real-time company. That way, we are trying to bridge the gap between the academicians and the industry, where students have a feel of how the industry is and how challenging it is to get a solution for the problem. Summer camps. We normally give students vacation after their exams. At that point of time, we can introduce something called as a summer camp, where the students are being sent to the industry so that they get a real feel of the industry. Entrepreneurial ventures and incubation. Nowadays we have a lot of youngsters coming up with entrepreneurial ideas, where students come up with innovative ideas, and we have an incubation center tying up with a foreign university or an industry, where we are able to get the opportunity for the students to make their venture into a reality. A couple of concluding statements. Even though this is a brief insight of bridging the gap between the academicians and the industry, a support system is still needed to ensure focused involvement between both the academicians and the industry, where venues should be created for close interaction and startup from the conceptualization stage to the commercialization. As academicians, we know it's very easy to give a lecture for 2 hours and say that this is what is happening in the industry. But in order for students to get a live impact on the industry, it is always advisable for us as academicians to tie up with industries so that we can give students the live exposure and bridge the gap between academicians and industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Priyanka. That was a wonderful food for thought. May I now request Dr. Jyasi Reddy to please come and share his views with us. Dr. Priyanka, can you please help me to receive your certificate? Thank you for taking out out time from your busy schedule to share your views with us.
My talk is not exactly the same you are expecting, because my talk on the subject, I will be the same, whatever my Indian speaker quote. I slightly differ, in fact, it will be the same almost, but I will be speaking from the standpoint of my experience in training system, because I spent all my lifetime in IT as a student, teacher, and administrator. I know what is an IT and IT system, because I am associated with engineering, but I know the private engineering college also. I shall try to speak the same topic in a different perspective. I shared this on some other platform earlier. So the reflection of that. India today produces about 1.5 million engineering graduates per annum. Most of them are in circuit branches, that is electrical, electronics, computer science, and similar allied branches. However, everybody agrees that only 75% graduates of this 1.5 million are employable. Unemployable. That is, 25% are employable. The reasons are, both government as well as private colleges lack teachers of appropriate scholarship standards. Again, this is because right students are not joining PT programs and are not taking up research teaching as a profession. But 25% is higher side. Frankly speaking, about 85% are unemployed. The reasons behind this apathy for higher learning is this is the main reason. Now the industry is not knowledge based. There are techniques over it. There is little research, design or technology development. There is very little capital equipment manufacture and design, where postgraduate engineers are gainfully employed. All the above related to government policies under industry, taxation, import-export, not education alone. As a result, there is little employment market for the postgraduate engineers in the industry. As you are aware, most industry prefer only BTech students. Because shortage of qualified engineers in the market, the better ones are offered very high salaries by the industry. Right after graduation, even in fourth semester itself, some companies they come and beg us for recruitment process. Normally in NITs and IITs, only in the last semester of this 4-year program we allow. But in private college, I see, right from the beginning, they are ready to come, they don't mind to allow the companies to come and take placements, do the placements. Teacher salaries, in contrast, start 7 years later compared to BTech people who are employed in the industry. The level less than 50% of the teachers' salaries, even now, even after the device skills also very modest. PhD scholarships need to be comparable to those salaries to attract students to research and innovation. higher academic standards can be introduced if the scholarships are made higher. People are thinking that right now, PhD students are being paid rather little more, which is not true because they always compare themselves with BTech students. This BTech fellow comes for PhD after MTech program, that means 2 years after BTech. Then to complete his PhD, if it is a good institution, it takes about 5 to 6 years, sometimes more, about 7-8 years it takes. A BTech student who joins in the industry, and if he puts in a service of 7 years, you just see where he will be. A person who completes PhD, at the most he will be joining as an assistant professor, as a fresh recruitee in a good institution, and not more than that. And his value, everybody knows. Not enough emphasis on postgraduate and research education, even to create teachers for colleges. Private colleges don't invest in postgraduate courses at all. Whenever they do, most of them are distributed degrees, not education of the right standard. I know some private colleges wherein the post MTech students are putting out to teach the BTech students and not teaching at all for them. MTech stage. Among the government colleges, only NITs, IITs, and a few technology universities have the faculty and facilities to offer PG education and carry out research. Of course, there are some few private engineering colleges who are equally good, like any NIT or IIT, in terms of teaching, not research. To have 7 old NITs out of 60, they started early and offered good, though not at international standard, education. Among NITs, some 5 to say 7 or 10 NITs, though late starters, offer comparable postgraduate and research education compared to that of any IIT. New NITs, some of the old NITs also are yet to make a mark in the postgraduate and research education. This is a fact. Thus, the number of quality postgraduate engineers coming out per year is very, very small. The situation is truly alarming. So, the nation needs immediate change in government policy on industry level, import duties and taxes. Number 1. To make indigenous technology development profitable for industry or foreign technology, because we always try to import readily available technology abroad, discourage, encourage the indigenous technology. Number 2, to make design and manufacture of capital equipment profitable for import. This will boost demand for postgraduates as well as research engineers in the industry. Otherwise, it will never go up in the country. Massive investment in higher technical education, particularly existing centrally funded technical institutions, is required. This will be cheaper, faster, and more effective than opening new institutions, because most of the CFTAs are operating well below the critical size necessary for proper education. You take any NIT, IIT, the number of students on the campus is not anywhere comparable to that of any good institution abroad in US. We can increase the number of students in any campus. There is no point in just to go on increasing the number of institutions and call them overnight. You just open them, call them institutions national importance, which is not correct in my view. Though I am making the critical comment, it's a fact. See, no institution can become overnight national important institution. Unfortunately, in our country we have a social system. If somebody is born as a Brahmin, he remains a Brahmin throughout his life. If somebody is called IIT, he will remain IIT. If somebody is called NIT, he will remain IIT throughout his life. If somebody is a private college, he will remain a private college throughout his life. He can never, there is no chance for him to graduate into either NIT or IIT. This is to be discouraged. because by dint of his hard work, output, any institution can become a good institution, not just by naming someone. And moreover, overnight if you start industries, where is the faculty? I tell you my own experience. Only last month, I recruited faculty members. For about 50, I have about 15, 20 faculty openings. Do you remember? I have received about 550 or 70 applicants in 3 branches, that is electrical, electronic, computer science, all PhDs. Because in NITs now, without PhD, we don't apply anybody. And out of these 550 or 70 PhD applicants, I could get about 11 people. Out of these 11, I think about 6 or 7 must be joining me. So what happened to these 550 or 70 PhD applicants? That means, they don't have any quality at all. In the name of producing PhDs, we just go on giving degrees to all Tom and Dicky. And when they come for interview, he cannot even open mouth. He doesn't know even basics. And there is no way for him to get into any good institution like NIT, IIT. Very unfortunate. In fact, some of the NIT, at least myself, I don't shortlist some of the PhDs awarded by some universities. Simply I practice that university, those universities, some 20 are there. Because their PhDs are not worth even to equivalent to BTech projects. Most campuses abroad have 20,000 more students, while in India CFTs have less than, most of them are 5,000. Suppose nowadays 7,000, 8,000 is reaching, but still it is far away from this 20,000. So we can increase the capacity of the existing institutions. NITs, new IITs, and some other CFTs are the best candidates for new investment. But I want to say there is no point in opening new overnight, new IITs and NITs. New institutions should be planned concurrently. By the time the existing institutes mature, new institutes will start growing. This is how the planning should be. Our country has the unique scenario of having large clusters of institutes, NITs, IITs, ISers, IIMs, etc. Common name, common admission, common identity for a set of institutions with different standards and sizes unrelated to performance, and this is leading to public perception and government funding linked to title. That means if somebody is called IIT, even parents also, because it is named after IIT, is named as IIT, not quality. Complacency and frustration in the other institutions, because they think that even though they are doing better, they cannot go to the next stage. Less emphasis on innovation, initiative, and performance. So gradation doesn't depend on this innovation, initiative, and performance in our country. It depends only on the names. Individual institutes are not able to jump to higher levels through performance. This is what we are facing. All private colleges are facing. No diffusion of intellect. The reason is, if he shifts his institute from A to B, he thinks that, by going to B, his value comes down. Differential funding and treatment by central government arguments public residents, because you take engineering college and engineering college, whether state government or central government. You compare the NIT and a private college or a government engineering college in a state. So there is vast difference in funding. Even among the private CFTAs also there is a vast difference. Till the other day, there used to be a vast difference between IITs and NITs. Because now slowly, because of our effort, the gap is coming down. they are teaching at par, but still a long way to go. The reason is, IIT, NITs also had to come up. That so what we wanted the government to give the same level playing field so that we can show the results. And we are showing results, and the gap is being reduced. It takes time. Because NITs are hardly 10 years old, IITs are about 50, 60 years old. When IITs were 10 years old, they were like NITs only. Present NITs only. 30 NITs constitute large. We have about 30 NITs in the country now. Because I'm an NITian, I'm just talking about one standpoint of NIT. To have 30 NITs in the country, the largest single block of institutes offering postgraduate and research education. All NITs are saturated in their size, quality. Smaller and newer colleges have not come to the point of converting investment into quality change. The NITs are in the middle of a growth process because NITs are only just 10, 12 years old. Investment will translate to quality and volume in short term. To be productive, the institutes need uniform, rational faculty and non-faculty recruitment rules and policies. At present, they vary from institute to institute. The rules that I apply, the rules and regulations that I follow in NIT Goa are different from some other NITs because he thinks that he doesn't get good faculty, so he tries to dilute the rules or standards. Whereas I don't dilute, because I know that if I am good, automatically good people will come to me. It all depends on my students also. If I have good teachers, then I can attract good students. If I have good students, then I can attract good teachers. And this NIT should be dealing from UGC and IIT, not even NITs, even IITs also. Though directly we have nothing to do with UGC and IIT, still they code these, organizations, UGC rule, that is there, AST rule, this is there, why are you having some other rule, these things, very often, they ask us, we say, if the director is strong enough, you just dismiss such a question, otherwise, he will be forced to follow. Although academically NITs have no relation with it is there already. This is killing NITs. Boost infrastructure, laboratories, hostels, equipment, etc. to special infrastructure, grants to NITs will definitely improve the NITs. Greater and clear accountability of faculty staff should be there. We have already, introduced 4-tie structure, and we discontinued, in fact, CA caste promotion career advancement scheme. This has really killed education, not only in just NITs, across the country. Across the country. Person thinks that once he puts in some certain number of years as a teacher, he should get promotion. That was the idea of this behind this caste. It was misused, in fact. Idea behind was good, but it was actually misused. And to class-based discrimination, the government discovers IITs, IIMs, NITs, to other colleges to boost self-esteem of faculty and students, especially NITs and other CFTIs. An officially sponsored investment performance-based ranking system implemented through socially respected agency to modify public and employer perception is very, very important. Simply because somebody is having some, name brand like NIT, IIT, should not be rated very high. You can see large number of, graduates even from IITs and NITs are not that good. There are some graduates coming out from private colleges are equally or better than so-called graduates from these so-called, institutes of national importance. These measures should give visible benefits. Whatever I told, if these measures are taken, and you can see the benefits say in the next 3 to 4 years. So unless the standards of the institutions are increased, then only we can provide the quality output. If the quality output is there, then they will be involved. Once they join industry, they will be involved in R&D. And once they involve themselves in R&D, naturally, there is no need for these industries to import the technology from outside. This is how we can do. That is the only way. Otherwise, though right now in NITs, IITs, we have large number of MOUs, joint fights with industry, R&D organizations. But these things, they are not getting us. Still, they are not getting us anywhere because our industry is not knowledge based. That is the main thing. Why they are not knowledge based? Because the engineers who join there are really not engineers in the true sense. In fact, we are producing most of these 1.5, graduates are glorified technicians only, not engineers in the true sense. Thank you very much. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Reddy, for your insightful view into the scenario. After this, may I request Mr. Amitav Akhwari, Senior VP HR, Jindal Stainless Limited, to please come up to share his views with us. Thank you.
Very good afternoon to all of you. The post-lunch sessions has its own advantages and disadvantages, but I'll still try to ensure that a little bit of participation happens. My name is Amitav Akhwari. I look after the HR function of Jindal Stainless Limited. Before I actually start the presentation, I would like to just briefly tell you about the industry from where I am coming. I represent a company which manufactures stainless steel in the country, and if I have to put you this way, we are the 55% market share in the country, which means if you are getting a lakh ton of stainless steel in the country, 55% is being sold by Jindal Stainless, and the next to the competition which we have in the country is the imports, which means that around 30-35% of the stainless which you see in our country is imported. Which leads to the next question is that we are the market leaders in stainless steel, which makes us even more important that we should also promote stainless in the country, in the infrastructure and the country's usage. Of course, this topic of industry-academia bridge, there is a gap, I must admit. I've spent 25 years plus in the industry, and I've seen people chasing the fuse only, and the kind of industry, the kind of institutions which have opened in the past 20 years have actually not contributed the way it should have happened. Still, as industry, as Jindal, we also prefer going to some set of institutions. Of course, NITs and all those institutes are there, but nothing to be against any of the institutes which are functioning in the country. But still, the preference goes to these sets of educational institutes because we have actually seen merit in the students who actually come. We also agree that if a student joins the industry, it takes him approximately 2 to 3 years to get adjusted to the industrial culture. I mean, all of us, we are working in the industry. We were also passed out of some colleges, some institutes here and there. But of course, industry also embraces the students and give them at least 24 to 36 months to adjust and then to grow with the organization. So whatever we are mentioning like speed or the speed smartness and all those things, we wait for the student to develop. But to tell you, yes, the premier institutes, only because I see that the entry levels are very rigid or the entry levels are very better rated than the other institutions. The students, the children, our children who are actually going to take part in the industry growth in the next 20 years, they actually get this kind of a kickstart if they study from these institutes. A line on this picture also itself, there is a gap between the two, and I would like to start with some statistics. This is how I'll be running this slide. It's approximately 17 slides, of which maybe 2 to 3 are the broad topics, and the rest are the subject. It's the introduction, which is what is the current scenario, what is the demand supply. Though we hear the numbers, though we hear the demand supply gap, what are the numbers? I would be repeating some of the figures of Mr. Reddy and others, but nonetheless it's worth repeating again. Why there is a reason between the gap? We need to bridge this gap, definitely. As industry representative, I would still request all of you to come forward. We'll also like to come forward and bridge this gap. How? And we have to do it like this. There are some expectations. What are the actions required by the industry, by the student itself also? We also claim the students also a part of this mismatch which is happening today in the country. And last is on the conclusion. First is on some of the numbers. India is one of the largest education. Numbers have already been shared. 25.9 million students enrolled in more than 45,000 degree and diploma institutions in the country. I have taken into all the BTECs and the diplomas and the MBAs also for the purpose of discussion. More than 700 universities and 35,000 colleges, out of which 150 universities. And so much, the numbers are big, very big numbers these are. More than 85% of the students are enrolled in bachelor's degree program and about 1/6 in the engineering technology degree program. Engineering colleges in the country have been growing at 20% rate. That's the rate of increase of the institutions. In fact, we are just behind China. China is producing approximately 6 lakhs of engineering graduates. We are touching that number very closely, up to maybe 5 lakhs of that number. But if these are the facts, so many institutions and so many colleges are there, 5 lakh engineers and MBAs being churned out every year. But what is the reality? Again, a repetition, but a very forceful statement by one of the ex-president of India, in which he says it's a worrying sign that even though the third largest number of graduates in the world every year is produced in India, only 15% of our boys and girls passing out of college have skills required to become employable. So this is something between education and then the employability part of it. This brings in concern that students are getting degrees but not getting employment hands-on skills. And this is definitely a very genuine concern, stated from the first person of the country. 83% engineering graduates, sir had mentioned 75, I will still add to that figure and put it to 83%. 17.5% of engineering graduates in the year 11 were employable. Even graduates from Tier 2, Tier 3, Tier 4 engineering colleges in India were not industry ready even after interventional training. So the figures, these are the kind of intake which has been happening, and one small glimpse of the kind of placement which actually happened. It's IIT Bombay, 1,060 boys graduated, out of which 1,005 have got job. In fact, I'm sure all the remaining 55 would have also got it, or would have thought not to go for an employment. But if you look at MIT, 1,000 students passing out, only 365, only 30% of the students getting employment. There's a published figure, so I thought I should share it with you, though the name of the institute is there, but no bad feelings against the institute. There's some reasons behind it we have been discussing all in all. I would like to point out few from the industry point of view also. Education system continues to be a kind of a ratta technology. Like we say that you just mug up, vomit in the morning, pass out, get out of the college and look for an employment whichever way you get a job. It is not that people are taking the subject inside themselves. The subject is not sinking in them. High quality research and education institutions, the reputation, a loosened criteria for admission in professional colleges, yes, it is there. The criteria are very simple. These are my capitation fee, or this is the amount of money, or you do a campus interview in our institute, we'll employ your son, or we'll take admission of your son, or whatever you say. So even institutes are also giving very these kind of lucrative offers. Lack of seriousness in faculty. I would also like to add to this that yes, the kind of faculty which we actually see in the tier 2, tier 3 colleges are actually not up to the mark. Dr. Reddy had also mentioned that even the PhDs are not good enough to take sessions of the BTECs at times. Poor English language and communication, of course, a recent UPSC row which has happened, we said that English should be there or not, but I still feel that if you have to work in an industry, knowledge of English is required, which is a mandatory part as far as industry is concerned. On no training on functional skills, of course, we are to be blamed. We should also come forward and give those functional trainings. Commercialization of education, enough has been said on this. Many colleges have been opened because it belongs to a particular name, and that name should remain forever. So open an institute. But again, there are some of the financial figures I would like to say how the education industry is raking the mullah. How are they taking out the money from the economy? It is expected that overall education sector market will increase to maybe 100 billion from maybe 56 billion, approximately doubling that number would be. So money is there in the air. The institutions have to just open up and get this money into them. Expected revenue of private enterprise in education is approximately 45 billion in 2015. But the scenario is still now where it is catching up. If you see this slide, many of the institutions have actually closed down because of lack of students. Because the institute at times are also rated the kind of placement they offer. And batches after batches have passed out from the institute and the placements have not happened. 2011, since 2002, 25 business schools and over 50 engineering colleges across India have closed down. Many more colleges have training programs, branches. Vijayawada, Andhra Pradesh is credited with having the highest number of engineering colleges in the country. Out of 677, 339 are on the verge of closure. Another reality. It's hitting the industry also, the educational industry. Between 2011 and 13, AICT received 231 applications for management college wanting to shut down. I went to Bhopal, there were maybe 70 plus engineering colleges. And between the residential colleges, we saw a big two-story building running as an institute, engineering colleges. Pathetic. In 2013, 94 management colleges have sought consent to shut down. Another example, another sad side of the story. Of course, everybody agrees, I personally also agree that there is a need to bridge this gap. There is a need to fulfill the industry expectation, improve the employability, enhance the functional skills, explore possibility of customized curriculum, to bring the industry academic closer. Of course, this is one of the sessions. This is the first session I've been addressing in the last maybe 7-8 years from where I started speaking on. I'm addressing an academia session where I've been able to meet or interact with some of the professors of the institute. I've always met you all in the institutes only, and not at places like this, to discuss about the current need of industry in terms of competent manpower. These are some of the expectations which I just penned down myself, which says that from industry point of view, attitude, skill, knowledge, exposure to real workplace, overall character development, industry institute interface, and course content also. That is where the course content actually also makes a difference. Even if the other things can be developed in a student, the course content is important. The delivery is also important. How fast, how good they actually learn the subject. In fact, we actually judge the students by the questions they ask actually. It is supposed to give them a problem. How they are able to comprehend that particular problem is what we judge them at. And are they able to understand the problem, or is it that they are asking basic questions? From the academia point of view, yes, industry participation, we do have started. Jindal has participated, has signed, and we will be signing. In fact, by 15th of August, I will be signing 2 MOUs with 2 of the premier institutes. We have 2 plants, one in Hisar, which is 115 kilometers from here. The second plant is in Jajpur, which is 100 kilometers from Bhubaneswar. So we have actually identified 2 institutes for the northern region, one in the eastern region, and we are tying up with them. And it is first 2 are like student internship and the placement, but the third and the fourth is like, even we want our engineers, the DGNs or the general managers or the designations which are there, to actually go and take sessions in these institutes and professors should also come into our company, interact with our R&D cell and all. Clearly conveyed expected vocational training, practical experience to students, and platform for research and development. As industry, we have just started with 2 institutes. We would like to add more and more number of institutes to these. But of course, everybody has to play that role. The government, the industry, the students, the institutes, everybody has their own pie, and everybody has to move in a little bit from their side also. It is always easier to say that industry is not participating. Have we as institution participating with them or not? Is also we have to see another 4 slides on these 4 subjects. From the institute side, yes, selection criteria of candidates, selection of students with potential for corporate employability. I would still suggest that why don't we have at least 50% of the engineering college follow the same selection procedure which NITs are following. Why can't we have AIEEE and maybe we can call it some other name, NIEEE or whatever name we want to give. We have another set of like ZAT or MAT, whichever is there, a common entrance test for maybe 50% of the engineering colleges coming together and participating in one selection process. Like for 30 NITs, AIEEE, IITs, they have a separate one. Why not for the remaining? And those institutes who wants to participate through this common entrance test, not of the IITs and NITs, they also have to follow their part of the responsibility of faculty, of the research facility which they have, and then they should get part into all those things. Aptitude test, selection criteria, shift from input-centric to learner-centric, definitely this is important. We have to ensure whether the student has actually understood the subject or he is just writing exams of 3 hours and passing and getting 70% and we assume that he has learned everything. He would have done, and nowadays students are street smart also and they know how to beat the system. So they would like to beat the system and pass the exams also. Development of faculty, the timely assessment and training, this also is very important. I would also recommend, like we have IAS and IPS category, why don't we have in UPSC a kind of a senior education professionals moving in, serious people who would like to improve the universities and the colleges. Maybe like an IAS officer, there could be an ITS, Indian Training Officer, whatever we can call him, ITO or ITS, and he then checks and keeps the balances with the universities. Development of faculty, great importance and value of closer interaction with industry. So these are some of the things which institutions also have to. Maybe the institution should also have a criteria that how many MOUs they have signed with the companies. How many companies have they signed MOUs with? So these are also some of the questions. By students, very easy to blame these students, but we should leave them what they want to do. But as parents, we also at times tell them that no, it is better to do a BTech rather than a BA. Even if he doesn't want to do BTech, we tell him that better do BTech, not BA, because both means graduation and you do MBA. So why don't you do BTech? Without realizing that whether he wants to study in that or not. Change concept, only degree can bring a job, that's wrong. This is something in today's time, at least in the last 5 to 7 years, so many of service sectors have opened up where students are getting jobs. Students have themselves volunteered for NGO jobs also, where they know that they will get less salaries. But they want to do something what they like to do. Choose the right career path with natural talent. There are assessments. Now HR has also become a little bit scientific. They can assess your people or the children and they can tell what kind of a growth they are fit for. Self-driven and not forced by parents to guardian. At least I would put at least 30% in this criteria that many of the students, maybe if they are not sure what they want to do, so the parents take a decision that yes, you better do this kind of a course. Work on soft skill development is also important, taking responsibility, being smart enough to face the world and all. By the industry, yes, convey properly what are the expectations for engineering and management graduates. Adoption of selected institute by industry, so that I just mentioned that we are tied up with 2 institutes, we are already in the advanced discussion. Create avenue for a close academia and industry interaction through all the phases of technology development. And to tell you if this country has to have more and more of usage of stainless steel, as industry will not be able to tell what further application stainless will have. But as a professor, as an R&D lab, people can come up and tell. Now even the overhead tanks, which was earlier of maybe cement and brick, got replaced by the plastic syntax tanks and all. We have now brought in a product which is a stainless steel overhead tank, which is a vacuum-based, two-layered overhead tank. Of course, it would be a little costly, but that is one usage. Another usage which has also been improved through stainless steel is like the toilets and the trains. A decision has been taken that will not clear the night soil on the platform tracks, so we'll clear it somewhere on the track. So the question was that you have to store it for at least an hour or so that you can open the tanks on the track later on. And that is where stainless steel is also trying to bring in their bit, that this will at least help the kind of, and this is all because of the R&D and the interaction with the academia and all these things that it has come up, and we also want to bring more and more change. As an industry will bring in the product, but as being the market leader, we also have to promote stainless steel. Academic intervention in solving specific industry problems, that's what I just mentioned. The famous, if you go from here to Chandigarh on the right hand side or the left hand side, you see many of the rice mills using stainless steel containers because they found it better in terms of storage and airtight and all those things. That's where the usage of stainless steel actually increased. Industry participation in technology development involving some exploratory work. Stainless steel today has actually also entered, our company has also actually entered into the atomic research sectors, and we are also supplying stainless steel to such usage also. And of course, all fingers points to government, so maybe some from my side also. By 2020, India will need 800 more universities and 35,000. But do we need to have all this, or should we use the capacity which we already have? So scaling up the capacity in existing institutions rather than adding new institutes. Bring in more stringent criteria for students, for faculty. Improve technology for education delivery. Yes, it's also important input on designing placement processes. So these are some of the government criteria are there. I mean, you cannot take students till you have not placed 80% of the students, period. Or 90% of the boys or children have not been placed, there will be no further admission in this college. So maybe they'll start working backwards, and if they have to place 80% people, they will work backwards and try to finish in a better way. And the last slide, involvement of industry across the value chain and not limited to placement process means employability. So I as an industry representative, I owe this. We have to also get a step forward to the institution. Curriculum balance in business knowledge and skills with leadership and soft skill development, this is also required. Kind of a business or maybe knowledge skill. In fact, when we went to the HBTA Kanpur, when we had gone there for campus interview, 50% of the students couldn't qualify even the group discussion. They were not able to speak. They were not able to converse properly or to put forward their thought. Of course, they were good in subject because we had shortlisted them from the criteria of the mark sheet. That was the first criteria. But when we actually interacted with them, around 40 to 50% even couldn't complete the group discussion. So then we also gave a feedback there that why don't you spend some time, at least one semester, at least invest 20 hours or 25 hours of developing the student also, so they can answer. Even if they are poor in English, accept it. But they should be told how to participate and talk and all those things. That was very important. This is one of my live experiences, happened at least 4 years back. We actually ended up taking 7 of them. So it was not that we did not select any of them. We did select 7 or 8 of them. And industry exposure through live projects, internship, case studies on real business. So these are some of my thoughts that I thought that I would share with you. And thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak in front of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Khori. That was a very good vision that you gave us. May I now request Mr. VSN Raju, CEO, Globalina Technologies Private Limited, to come and share his vision.
because as my ex-speaker mentioned, after the lunch, that too, closing of the session is always difficult. Industry equipment bridge, channelizing, collaborative models. In the past 10 years, we have been discussing about this topic on various platforms. This is a very important topic. Maybe I would like to just bring one area. 10 years before, the colleges, universities, the industries comparatively now, very less. Maybe when we look at 400 colleges was there and different universities, the requirements at the industries also there. But now, when we look at now, the colleges, more than 4,000 we are seeing, the multi-fold development happened in institutions as well as universities and requirements at the industry. So what is that concern? I would like to mention one area. When we talk to colleges or universities, they will mention, okay, we have very bright students and they are not getting the jobs. When we talk to the industry, industry says that, okay, we have a lot of opportunities, but we are not getting the right fit. This issue last couple of years, we have been discussing and we are looking at each one. Okay, whether industry will help academia or academia will help industry, because this working hand in hand. When we look at the current as a still concern, maybe last 5 years also we have talked about the same thing, even now also we are talking the same thing. The fact is, industry is not getting the right fit for their requirement. Maybe if you look at, okay, right fit, when we look at several industry bodies, their study, what they have conducted, 10% of the graduates are employed. 10%, 25%, 27%, different people. Not that, because my personal view, not that other people are not getting them. They are getting jobs. But they are not getting the jobs they want. Our industry, they are not able to recruit the way the skilled manpower they want. That is a gap actually there. We are recruiting. Sometimes, okay, I want some, because in our organization 500 people are working. When we want to recruit, we look at them. We will get the right fit sometimes. Sometimes, okay, we look at, okay, we can try them. What is happening when we are not able to get the right fit for our requirements? A lot of time is we are spending, time and money, because both is important. 6 months, 3 months, 1 year. And what is happening because of this, we are facing a lot of attrition. When a student is not able to adjust in that required job, what is happening after 3 months or 1 year of the job, the attrition is happening. Again, industry is looking for a new person. And again, student is starting from career again the zero. These are the issues. We have to seriously looking at these issues definitely. So what is that we need to do? Because I am not going to talk about where is the problem, industry or academia, whatever. I am going to talk as an organization. I would like to tell you about what model we have adapted. Because in one of the states where we are working, we have adapted this model. Because academia has to adapt some initiative or some model. This is not the only model, because several models is available in the market. Some model academia can pick up and provide well-rounded professional to the industry. This is what we are looking for. See, as an organization, 14 years we have completed. In last 14 years, 99% we work with academia only. We work with more than 21 universities in India, 2,000 colleges is using our services, and several state governments we are working. When we look at all this issue, I would like to take one important factor. A lot of speakers also mentioned about that, quality faculty. When we have a 400 colleges 10 years before, suddenly we have grown to 4,500. Because the same way, we have not developed our teaching resources. It is not that overnight we can develop our teachers, it is difficult. Because the way we can construct buildings, the same way we cannot build our teachers. Rightly said by our Reddy. Today what we are doing, maybe after 10 years, they will mature enough to handle more and more. In that area, when we look at these issues, then when we have worked with several colleges, we have, because we are from Hyderabad, we have gone to the government of Andhra Pradesh, we have told, okay, we have 600 plus engineering colleges available. In the 600 engineering colleges, excellent faculties are available in different colleges. When you take one college, you may not get ideal faculty. But when you look at different colleges, you have excellent faculties are available. They are producing great results. We have to bring together. It is not that okay, everyone can attract best and better talent for their colleges. As a government, because you have allowed the institution, you have allowed the university to go and expand the institution. So we have to help differently. So what we told, we will connect all the 600 colleges, wherever the colleges are available. Okay, we will have studios, bidirectional video conferencing facilities with e-learning and with e-examination. We have proposed, they have given us 7 districts. They said, okay, because the concept is good, but we would like to look at the result, how it is going to produce. They have given around 8 months time. We have established the same model what we have shown them, and we have established 7 different districts. 7 districts, 7 colleges we have taken. And we have established this entire model. After 6 months, the result we have taken, the feedback from the college management, feedback the faculty, and more importantly the students. And given the results, government have allowed institutions to go for a tender. Fortunately, luckily we got the tender. Last year we have provided the solution to more than 550 colleges. Nearly around 5 lakh students is accessing the solution what I have done. I would like to just give you a small clip is there. What we have done, we have converted entire engineering content into e-learning and established a studio and the video conferencing across all colleges. E-content for the faculty as well as the students. Because the faculty, while they teach, they can utilize this material, they can teach. Whatever students learn at the classroom, he can go and practice. While the faculty, apart from the lecture notes, while they teach, if they want some animation, some critical concept to be explained, he can draw that animation and explain the concept. At the same time, images may require to explain, because he need not to spend time on drawing and all that. So he can draw the images and explain. So this is the entire faculty module we have given, so that as per the syllabus of the university, so that they can utilize in the classroom. After that, end of the module, we have given a quiz, so that whether student really understood. Faculty can test, even student also will know on their own. Everything we have loaded in the server. From the server, it will deploy to the students and faculties. Another advantage as a faculty, they can plan their sessions and inform to the students. They know that as a faculty, what is that they are going to take and they can practice. Other one, faculties, their own sessions they can upload and they can record the entire session, because as a repository it is going to be available. How we are going to deploy this content? We are going to deploy at the college server. Faculty can access at the classroom, and the student can access if they have the tab or smartphones, and other one is the college laboratories. And also students will have unique user ID and passwords. They will access from anywhere, internet cafes, or if they have their own computer. Another one, we have established HD conferencing studios at 2 universities, there is one Hyderabad, another one Kakinada, and also we have connected with all the colleges in that both the universities. Because a lecture, a faculty is conducting at the university level, all the 500 colleges can view, and they can interact with the faculty also. It is not that faculty need to travel at the central studio. Because a college can become a central studio. When a college have an excellent faculty, when he is going to teach, all different colleges also can attract. Another advantage here we have seen, industries has very limited resource, and every college want industry person to come to college and conduct some sessions. It is highly difficult. When you have this system is available in your college, in the university, because expert lectures from industry, HR heads, or some social leaders can conduct their own sessions, because they need not to travel from their places. Today the problem is logistics, and the travel is the more important, the timing. We can send a link to that particular person wherever he is, wherever across the globe. Maybe from US you can invite, okay, 3 o'clock, the person is going to deliver a lecture. We can send a link. 3 o'clock, he will connect to our central server from his location wherever he is, maybe at office or home. He can connect to our central server. He will teach that lecture. From the central server, it will go to all colleges. This way, we are avoiding the entire problem of bringing them to one location and all that. Other important, all the lectures, whatever we have conducted in a current scenario, it is difficult because the resource is very, very costly. We are bringing them in a, because so many people have come forward. You are here last 2 days, you are deliberating a lot of issues. Because this entire sessions will be recorded, kept in the repository. A student wants to go through that topic, so he can access the topic any number of times. Because the learners are different. Somebody, once they listen, they will capture. But other people, they require 2 or 3 times. So this way, this technology intervention is going to help really in a big way for our students, as well as our college also. Because college need not to worry about, okay, I don't have an excellent faculty. They can borrow from other institutes. They can borrow from NITs, IITs, wherever they are. And end of the day, what we are doing, entire this model with a pre-assessment. Every student will have a first assessment he will take, so that he or she will know exactly where they are in a particular topic. After that, during the learning, minimum 2 to 3 interim assessment we provide to track their progress. Even institution will know, university will know, and personally I will know where I am, because more than anybody. Then end of the program, you will have a post-assessment before their main exam. So that, okay, what are the areas I am weak, they can put more practice and learn that. So we have introduced this system last year, and lot of challenges, because this is a change management. What we have done to popularize this model, we have conducted FDP's faculty development program, 30 colleges together, and conducted all, and we have given a faculty manuals to them. We are going to conduct a lot of competition among the students and the faculties with this system, so that we have popularized and branding them. Then a lot of sessions from the eminent personalities. We have actually spoken to several industries. Industry came forward to run their industry endorsed certification program. Because after this system, we have explained to several industries. 2 or 3 major industries have come forward, okay, we will run a certification program. Wherever the student interested, we will run from our office, so that it will connect to your center studio and broadcast to all the colleges. They came forward, want to run a certificate program. End of the program, industry want to give the certification. Because by the time they complete the graduation with 2 or 3 certifications from the industry, definitely that product will sell a lot. And why this is important? Because as I mentioned, my beginning of the presentation, because 10 years before, very limited colleges, limited institutions, limited. But now the scale, what we are talking is huge. The scale, because the scale is very huge, we cannot change the entire system. Overnight cannot change, okay, the faculty is not good, we have to go in a big way, hire them, train them. It is not an overnight story. We have to have a consistent effort to improve. So in current scenario, to look at, because our country's biggest advantage and opportunity is our youth. When we mold our youth properly, definitely we can reach our target as a country, what we are thinking. So for that, we have to work together to popularize different models and develop our youth. Because unless we develop a skill, we cannot develop our country. So building skills, building India. That is our mantra. Thank you.
I will now request Professor Satish C. Sharma, CMD, Maharaja Group of Colleges, to come up.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. I think it's 4:30. About the end of the next session also, the time is very less. 4:30? Sorry. About to start the new session. Being the last speaker, I was supposed to be present in the yesterday's one of the session, linking education with employability, but my flight got cancelled. Today I'm going to share very new kind of experiment which we are doing in our campus. I pick up 3 points from 3 speakers' presentations. One is entrepreneurial projects which we have taken up in our campus for our management students as well as engineering students. Another is 1 point from the presentation of Mr. Khori, that yes, there must be some adoption policy between institute and industries. These 2 things we have already implemented. A city like Udaipur, city of lakes, where we have a group of 7 colleges across all streams like graduate, postgraduate, management, engineering, education. We have started one center of incubation for MBA students as well as engineering students. I would like to share some of very unique projects for MBA students when we felt the need, like how to place the masses, because it's an open fact, we are not catering any classes, we are catering masses. And mass is 80% in India, where class is only 20%. But who will take care of the masses? Ultimately, any country who is going towards mismanagement only due to unemployment of masses, not the classes. What we have thought that, yes, whatever the resources lying in our 10 kilometers or 20 kilometers vicinity of our city, why not to exploit them for the local students? We are catering most of the local students, not the global ones. The very first project, we have started like the 60 students batch, we classified into 50-50, the 50% who will opt for to be an employer and how many of opt for to be employed. Very lukewarm response, very negligible response in the first year. In 2010 I'm talking about. But in 10, hardly 5 students opted for this. But we got very good results. 1 project out of 3 projects been implemented in the city of Pune as dry cleaning shopping. Named as White Tiger. The concept was very simple, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. catering to those people who are pure working class, husband and wife. Nobody is there to take care of the household activities. Now 3 students, they made a company, and institution, as an institution, we be part of the funder as well as partner in that company. We invest the entire money, we partner in that company, 1/4 of the share we take in that company, and the project, the entire planning and the execution part, we set with the all experts, design the project, everything, then go for the implementation part. This project is a very successful. They started with very simple 500 clients, but now they have more than 5,000 clients. They only charge 5 rupees per unit, per cloth, after washing. Very cheap, and they are getting very good response. The student who was getting a job of just 10 to 12,000 rupees in an insurance company or in another company is earning around more than 1 lakh rupees a month. Second project, we have taken up very small product like the lizard popper is a very brand name, is a very known one. We have also started a product like maize, makka. This product is amazing, like huge quantity is produced in and around the city. Hardly 12 to 14 rupees kg. Now the lizard popper cost, if you have, if anybody know about the cost, 150 rupees kg, the finished product. And we are supplying the entire popper product in 4 flavors, asking the 5-star chef to design, to give us the 4 kind of recipes of poppers, the garlic one, the onion one, the red mirchis, the green mirchis, and the plain one. So after giving this, Who is the producers of these papads? All NGOs, all old ladies sitting in the villages. They work with hand only, handmade papads. But given them the recipes, the quality control, and all the supply is given to the city of Goa. All drink industry, all the bars and the people, it's a real taste very nicely with that. It goes with fantastically. Now there is a huge expansion also. The dry cleaning as well as this project you can expand to any of the city. That depends on the requirements. Look at the engineering side. We have asked some of the electrical engineers to design even the in-house solar lights. They designed it. Entire campus is, my campus is on solar lights. They have designed it and now they are producing all small lamps for the rural areas to feed them when electricity is not there. They are going to sell it and we are part and parcel of the same company. So my point is, if we are not going to think on these lines, everybody cannot get a job, whether you talk about a class or a mass. So we have to train them as entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs can feed 5 people and 5 people can feed another 5 people. So it's more or less feeding 30 or 40 people at the same time, starting a small project of hardly investment is of 10 lakh rupees. Now coming to the industry and academy, this adoption policy, my institution has sat down with the Chamber of Commerce people and requested them that it's a small city and it's not a industry-based city, only tourism sector is there and some of the marble industries are there. But what can we do for the students? Now we were the first one to sign MOUs as a part of industry adoption policy with the industries, and it goes like this. A student who attends the class till 2:30 in the normal curriculum by the university and then reports to the industry. 4 students in each industry in all relevant areas like the HR, finance, marketing and other areas. They've been allotted 4 mentors in that specific industry. They are going to train them on everyday basis. Maybe a small petty work, but the student has to report there and maybe he stays there for 3 hours, 4 hours, 1 hour or 6 hours. It's up to the mentor, whatsoever kind of the volume work he is there. So that kind of training goes semester wise, complete 2 years. And after the end of the semester, the mentor is going to submit a report and the entire internal assessment marks, the evaluation marks is given by the mentor only, and we just transfer those marks on our institutional sheet, assessment part. So that becomes a very serious kind of note for the students also that it is going to affect my internal part, that's 70 and 30 marks. So this is how we can ask the industry, please retain these students on day-to-day basis so that, and I tell you very honestly, first they were very reluctant to admit those students. But now, as on date, after 3 or 4 years time down the lane, now they ask us, please send, can you send 2 more students? Because after 2 years, they become part and parcel of the industry. They know many things about those industries. First they were on no stipend, then on stipend. Now they are ready to pay them even a very good handsome salary also, and no training required. After 2 years, when the industry is going to recruit them, no formal training is required. Let's say for 1 month, 2 months, no orientation is required because the student is already familiar with the concerned departments. So if the industry people is really going to respond us in this manner, I think this bridge can be very strong and the institutions can progress in terms of the placement, in terms of the growth. So this relationship can be very positive. If we look at things positive, things will definitely happen positive. So with these words, time is a little short, and thank you everybody for this beautiful presentations made by others. I am given the task to coordinate the question and answer session on behalf of the organizers. So if any query or any questions from the audience side, we can ask the esteemed speakers about the questions or queries. Yes, please.
sorry I came in late. I was at the station. Came up late. There's a tremendous amount of knowledge available here. Actually, I come from the management and IT field, and as an NGO or rather as a civil society, I'm working on the design of 21st century villages. Why 21st century? Why villages? It's very simple. To my mind, villages can be made sustainable, cities cannot. We know that. The moment the oil price is right now about 100, 120, the moment it goes to about 150, we find all the TINCs and all this stuff will be cheaper. So we have to strengthen our villages. Now the problem is if our villages are not strengthened, all the exodus of the village is coming down and coming to the slums. So with the process they are sinking the cities also, which is an unfortunate fact. So the whole concept here of making 21st century villages was, can we design a village to be a modern village? And fortunately I think we've made some headway. I can explain that I don't have time, but I just want to share this knowledge. And this whole thing is driven by three. Biggest component is IT. If you can teach say 6 own classes, if you can teach them how to read, write, and think, and of course use the tablet. I'm not even talking about computers. Tablets are affordable. So all the training is done via the computer, via servers. And on site, you will have something like an instructor who's been to the course before. He's an adult, he can guide, he can deliver it. And typically it will be blended learning. So they will be given an assignment, you go read this video, see this video, do this exercise at home. And in the classroom, they will actually start working on solving problems. So this is what we have in mind for the education. The second thing which we are looking at is, frankly speaking, I mean, out of most of the children, I don't think more than 80%, they are more worried about getting in money. They are more worried about getting food. I mean, I'm sorry for the educated pundits and all this stuff. They are not interested in getting a high degree. Yes, they are 5, 10, 15, 20% who feel involved, who are worried about getting A+. But these people are worried about getting an A+, and what you've done is a beautiful job. The second thing I wanted to point out was, knowledge is doubling every 2 years, maybe 3 years. It's doubling definitely. Now, what does it mean if you have to go through the standard process? Knowledge doubles. So one is by the time the industry sees, okay, well, we got to do something here, and then there is the university, the curriculum is made, then the teachers are trained. At least 10 years have passed. Maybe it will be less. So if country, India can revamp its systems, which is what we could talk at maybe later, then we can have a competitive edge. In fact, we do just-in-time teaching, just-in-time learning. We have this concept in supply chains, so that's something which I thought I'd share with you. So we can do this thing, and then we go and force. Everybody is not an employee, everybody is an entrepreneur. So he's got 24 hours in the day. In case he's a fresher, well, then he can do whatever. He's already working, which a lot of the IT people are already working.
We understand. I think you can continue during the tea time or. Thank you so
I just
much.
want to share this with you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for good deliberations. I think it's time to conclude because already this new session is going to be started. Thank you so much for your.
Thank you so much for this wonderful discussion. And I would now request Dr. G.R.C. Reddy to give away the certificates. Can we have the certificates, please? Can we have Mr. Amitabh Akhori, Senior Vice President, HR, Jindal Stainless Steels Limited. And Mr. V.S.N. Raju. And Professor Satish C. Sharma. Sir, can we request you to please award the certificate to our next session? Ladies and gentlemen, without wasting any time, we now begin with a very important session for the evening. Can I have everybody's kind attention, please? We will now be talking about National Mission on Education through ICT, for which we have a very distinguished set of speakers, and I would like to welcome all of them. Can I have everybody's kind attention, please? We begin with our session, National Mission on Education through ICT, and I welcome all my distinguished guests for the same. I would invite Mr. Pradeep Kaul, Senior Consultant, NMEICT, who will be starting with the session, who will be taking on as a session chair from now. I will just give a brief start to the thing. The rate at which the information technology is growing today is evident from the fact that it has invaded almost every part of our life. Keen to use technological resources in helping its mission to make higher education accessible to all students, the government has launched its National Mission on Education through Information and Communication Technology. This session deliberates upon their vision, initiatives, and the way ahead. Sir, can we please have you to present your...
Good afternoon. I thank the organizer for giving us the opportunity to share our experience, what we are doing at MHR. And let me tell you that India has woken up much earlier in ICT. We were the first country to have signed in 1969 about 45 years before. The USA, NASA, and used the first satellite devoted to optical education called SITE, Satellite Institute and Experiment. The experiment was conducted by ISRO and a lot of people in 6 states of the country, delivering educational content to satellite and receiving it and showing it on the policy television, not even developed that way. So that was a vision the engineering had. It was done in 2,400 villages in the country, not in towns, not in metros. So after that, we have lost the track. Today, are transmitting 850 DK channels, 34 channels of long transmission. So we have lost the track of use of these technologies. But we need it now. Why do we need it? That, if you look into the gross enrollment ratio, that the ratio of our eligible students in the age group of 18 to 23 years, those who should be in the college, how many of our children are there? The Government of India report says 20.4%. And we call ourselves a developing country. But a developing country, if you see the average, is way beyond 36%. So that should be a developed country. We need to do a lot because every progress of the nation depends on the education sector. If we have quality students producing, we definitely have a better prospect for all industry in the country. If you see the ICT and the IDI index, which is the 11 indexes of ICT measurement, measuring information society, we are from the bottom, almost bottom, we are 119 out of the total countries. And South Korea stands first, China is 79. So where are we? We got to use, we got to multiply. Some statistics are saying that we need to have, like if we have 800 or 750 universities, we need to have 1500 universities. It has taken us 60 years to come up to this level. How many more years will go? Maybe another 50 years, we don't have time. So we got to use ICT. The government has taken a decision and the cabinet approved it from 2nd January it was approved by cabinet and within a month it was launched, 2009. And today I would
I'm happy to share that we have achieved, at least we have begun some big projects. And some of my colleagues are here, they will talk about each project, I will not dwell upon that. But one important thing what I would like to share, we have felt that there is a need to connect our institutions. And that time the numbers when we started was about 419 universities. And we took a pledge that we will connect all the universities with 1 gig fiber optical connectivity. And I'm glad to say that today we have 409 universities connected in 1 gig capacity of fiber optic. And now the next step is going to be a revolutionary step. We are going to make them Wi-Fi level, all the universities in the country. Second thing is we had assessment that time $22,000. We will get into the also connect them into connectivity. And I'm happy to announce that 26,000 colleges are already connected. The college in which you or some of us are studying, and they may not be in the best of metros, are connected with the broadband connectivity of 10 Mbps and 20 connections further with 5 to 12 Wi-Fi connections. That's the way we have gone into it. And now, what should flow into these things is the content. And we are serious about the content. My colleague will share that IIT success story. 12 crore people hit list in the world, YouTube. That is his strength, that is the way they have won. Popularly because the branding is IIT, people want to know more about it. Who is watching it? That one has to find out really. And next, if you see who in the education sector is watching it, MIT, they are half the numbers of our hit list. That shows the popularity of our program. And my colleague CEC is non-engineering, he will talk about the non-engineering subject that they are developing. And one important thing which my speaker we don't have on that is that the books is very important, and the government has ensured that we procure e-books. And 97,000 e-books have been procured by us. And 6,328 journals, different subjects are with us. They are all free for the students. And in the journals we can get back volumes 10 years. Imagine what a knowledge source is available to the student. But this needs to be popularized, this needs to be brought to the level of students, and they should use more and more such things. And new things is coming up, the MOOCs is coming up. We are not lagging behind. India MOOCs started this year from 3rd March. IIT Madras has launched 3 programs for 3 months. That's almost finished now, and next program is coming up. IIT Bombay, my colleagues from IIT Bombay will share. They have already almost launched the program with edX, 2 to 3 programs. Now a series of programs will continue. Collaboration of universities, award of certificates, award of degrees. Universally it's available now. MOOCs is available to anybody. But if you want to get a degree, yes, you have to pass, you have to pay a little fee and pass through the system, and definitely you will get it. We are coming up with the National Library. Big mission is coming up. All the content is going to be available on one portal, and that's going to be reached. The pedagogy is very important thing. We have signed Washington Accord, and we are signatory from this year onwards. Earlier we were only members, casual members, now we are permanent members. So our students' transformation to the underage universities, the degrees have to be valid. How to make it and how to be equal at world standard, those things are already implemented, and IIT has done a lot of work on this. We have to learn how to make it happen. Talk to the teacher. My colleagues from Bombay, IIT, they have done it. They want to have training sessions with the teachers in a different 500 pockets in India, and so far 36,000 teachers have been trained. We are going to train 1.5 lakh teachers. That's the way we are going ahead. Not many other small projects, even spoken tutorials, my colleague will talk, and sign language for the people who can't print impaired. We have converted 175 books into 6 languages, and it's available in DAISY format. We got to learn, we got to take care of those visually impaired students and look into their issues. haptic devices, we are committed with the haptic devices, we are using those technologies into remote learning. Robotics, lot of things have been happening in IIT Bombay. And free and open software is our mission, the slogan that we want to follow it up, and a lot of things are happening in this. So these are some of the things outlined, and I would request my colleagues to start, and we will take up the questions after the definition. I'm sure we'll keep 5-10 minutes, and maybe 10 minutes each speaker. And Professor Vishal Sen from IIT Delhi, he looks after the NPTEL, he will talk about this.
Good evening. I hope we are still awake. We've been talking about online e-learning and those type of things which are otherwise, we say very not so close to heart. A lot of people believe that unless I see you, I don't think you are there. And so in such a situation when remotely somebody wants to talk about remote subjects and so on and so forth, it's a difficult thing, but I'm sure the last 2 days have been talking about these things only. Pradeep Kaul was talking about what India must have done through the SITE program, which was a very early program. I remember one incident somebody was talking about very early days, about 15-20 years before. Somebody said that inspectors used to go to schools to check what they are doing. And so this was a nursery school, almost a pre-nursery school, a beautiful school, lot of beautiful windows, nice buildings, nice things, and the principal told the inspector that we teach our students on computers. That time obviously has impressed my God, the nursery teachers, students also being taught through computers. They say, enter the room, he finds a big table, there are 5 PCs there on the table, and the teacher is saying, students, how many pieces do you see? Say 5. Then he puts one down. Now how many? There are 4. So 5 minus 1 is 4. So teaching through computers. This is how probably the life would have been. What I am going to do in just about 10 minutes or 8 minutes, whatever we have, is some efforts that Pradeep was saying that the Government of India and through Government of India we've made in IITs. This is, and talking about that, some challenges particularly with the engineering education. So humanities and social sciences have different challenges, but engineering education have different challenges. So what we have done, and this is how I hope I'll be able to take it through. Small time, small agenda. NPTEL, which is National Program on Technology Enhanced Learning. What it is, then the concept of open source learning, what do we mean by that, and how we think we'll try and achieve that. Certification programs, we have tried to do some experiment on that, hopefully we'll do more. And sometimes people might think of a virtual technical university. As of now, we're looking at, somebody did talk about virtual IITs, so they don't talk about IITs, let's stay away. But at least you can think of technical university. So it's a dream at the moment, so let's see what happens. As far as India is concerned, we talk about engineering education only. So this NPTEL, somewhere around 2004, people sat together, and the interesting thing was the need. First is the need. The need was the same, people were talking about a lot of engineering.